my co.
Just a guess.
My guess. A guess this morning.
Let's say just a guess.
He's just a guest this morning.
Just a guess.
He's just a guest this morning, but we're going to talk about lying. We're going to talk about Mayor Sheldon Neely lying. And that's what we're going to talk about. You know, and you all share, call a neighbor, let them know they can follow us on 810 News Media Group. They also can follow us live on WFLT 1420. And we're just going to talk about it. I'm waiting to get on the air. And once we get on the air, we're going to pray, and then we're going to go directly into the show. Undisturbed. People in the city of Flint. Pardon?
But she said something.
WFLD. It's time for the Jamaica Free broadcast. Deacon AC Dumas using the business of the show and our phone. After management of WFLD. Good morning, Deacon Dumas. You're live on the air.
Well, good morning and have a blessed day, and thank you. Good morning to our listening audience. Good morning to our Facebook friends. This is Deacon AC Dumas, and before we get started, we're going to bow our heads in a word of prayer. Our Father and our God, we do thank you for this day that you have made, and you have commanded that we rejoice and be glad in it. We want to thank you for this broadcast. We want to thank you for our listening audience. Lord, you said in your word that ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So we ask you to bless this, give us to speak the truth in righteousness and godliness. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen. And I have my guest today is community activist and political activist, Arthur Woodson. Good morning, Arthur.
Good morning, Deacon Dumas.
Well, I better say Art. You like Art, but call you anything, just don't call you late for dinner. I understand that.
No, you just can't call me Collect.
Don't call him Collect neither. Well, okay, Art, okay. All right, Pete. Listen. On the previous broadcast, we discussed political manipulation tactics by elected officials, especially Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely. Recently, just this week, Fox News, Yahoo News, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MLive, OCN, the Daily Beast, BET, and the Daily Wire, and other mainstream media outlet did breaking news. And these are from major and local media organizations. Headlines: Woodward-backed Flint, Michigan mayor who lied graduating from the University of Michigan. All these are in quotes. Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely blames political staffer, after fake college degree exposed. Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely deceived residents about graduating from university. These are headlines. Fox News reported the Democratic mayor of Flint, Michigan, whose re-election campaign is backed by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, lied about graduating from a university. Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely claimed throughout his political career, to have graduated from Saginaw Valley State University with a communications degree, a bachelor. You're way into some of this while we're going on.
It's not just that. It's about his engineering career. He said that he was a broadcast engineer, but he was a technician. He didn't went back and changed a lot of the stuff, and some of the stuff he already had in there as a technician. I went to look at it, and some of the articles he had technician. But on his down at the library is a Genesee County a state book that shows him as 34th state rep. And it says in here, Democrat of Flint, born September the 20th, 1968, Baptist, Bachelor of Arts, Saginaw Valley State University, associate's degree, Delta College, and broadcast engineer, WJRT TV 12 member. To be the engineer, if I'm not mistaken, it states broadcast engineer usually possesses a bachelor's degree or higher in electrical engineering, computer engineering, or broadcast communications technology. He didn't have that. He only went for 2 semesters.
Where at Saginaw?
Yes, SVSU.
Right.
He only went for 2 semesters. And for him, it's not even about the degree. It's not even about that. Some people, with degrees don't even have common sense.
Right.
They don't even seem smart sometimes. It's not even about the degree. It's about him lying and misleading people. And, he even had me thinking that, he had a degree. He said he met his wife at McDonald's when he was in college, and he would always go to McDonald's where she worked at and, try to speak with her and get her number and all this other stuff. He had me thinking that he, had a degree. And then, when he was on his podcast during 2019, he was like, speaking ill about Jamaica Singleton, who has a degree.
And she has a master's, I'm not.
Yeah. Dr. Pugh, who has a degree.
A doctorate degree.
A doctorate degree. Mayor Weaver,
a doctorate degree.
I mean, all these people has degrees, and he was speaking ill of them.
Well, let me say this, Art. You do not have to possess a degree to hold the office of mayor.
Right, correct.
City council, state rep, senate, all that. Only thing you have to have a degree, I think, if you're going to run for the attorney general, or if you're going to be the chief legal officer of a municipality,
or city administrator.
Or I don't even know if you have to have a degree.
Yeah, you gotta have.
I mean, that may be for when we say the city minute, something the charter puts in.
Right, an ordinance.
An ordinance, but you don't have to have, because before they changed that, you didn't need a degree.
I mean, it's funny how the city administrator has to have a degree. The city administrator has to have more education than the mayor.
All right. Let me finish reading the notes, and if you have some questions, just come on. 810 News Media Group. It says Neely's office did not respond immediately to Fox News question about his career spanning lie. I'm not writing this. This is what they wrote.
Right.
The Whitmer-backed mayor's claim has been a major facet on his political career. With his Legal Strong account, that's a legal account, and I'm going to tell y'all, still reflecting the falsehood. It's still online. Nearly state legislator biography, there you go, similar made the claims he received a Bachelor's of Arts degree in communication. His mayoral biography, on the other hand, says he's received an associate degree from Delta College. And I guess he did, I don't know what that degree was in.
That was in psychology. I'm not going to crack any jokes on your show.
No, okay. And from SUV. But he leaves out false claims about graduating from the university. Additionally, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and you know what that is, Art, right?
DC, that's the state that sends money to downtown DDAs.
Okay.
Tax breaks.
Okay, of which Neely serves on the executive committee. It still contains claim of him graduating with a bachelor's degree in communications from Saginaw Valley State University.
No, let's correct that one, right? It doesn't claim it anymore.
Hours
later, after Channel 12 reported it.
That was this week.
Right. He went back and changed it. They went back and changed it hours later after Channel 12 went and looked and got the information.
So you're telling me that a lot of things have been changed
Right.
down the city
City Hall.
hall whip and everything after he was caught.
Right.
Then he went back and changed it.
Well, he said his political staffer. So who did it? Candace?
No, he said a political staffer,
but
right?
he had two political staffers, Candace and Clyde Edwards. So which one of them did his writing for him?
Well, let me tell you this, Art. If someone is writing something for me, number one, I have to give them the information what to write about me. Secondly, when they write it, I'm going to proofread it.
Correct.
And if I see something in there that's not right, I'm going to correct it before I release it to the public. I mean, would you let somebody write a bio on you and you didn't proofread it?
I mean, we didn't did interviews, AC. We didn't done interviews. At PBS, he was at this round table, and it was November the 8th, 2019. And they introduced him as the newly elected Flint mayor, state rep of 34th District, Sheldon Neely. They did his bio, and they said with degrees from Delta College and SVSU degree, bachelor's degree. He's sitting at the table. He's hearing this being said. Why didn't he correct it right there?
I don't know.
He thanked him for it.
Listen, the Michigan Association of School Boards also promulgated Neely's claim on their website, and local press have written the claim as facts. Other organizations also falsely list Neely as having a bachelor's degree from Saginaw Valley State University, such as the Urban Corps of Mayors reported in 2019. And this hasn't been changed yet. Mayor Sheldon Neely grew up in Flint, attending Flint Northern High School before entering Delta College, where he earned an associate degree. He received a bachelor's degree in communication from Saginaw Valley State University. Now, this is what that's Urban Corps, that means black mayor.
Right.
And this is on his bio. He hasn't changed it. Politicians lying and embellish their personal lives and credentials is no means new in the political world, but can spell disaster for officials caught in their own web.
It's Joe Biden in 1987, he told everybody that he had 5 degrees and was
top
the top of
his class.
They caught him at airport and questioned him about it, right? He changed up and admitted to what he had done. Mayor Neely tries to deflect. He compiled lies. He is a habitual pathological liar. I mean, everything he says is a lie. He says that the water is safe. That's a lie. The water is not safe.
Crime.
He says crime is down. That's a lie. They're not reporting the crime. That's a lie. He says blight is cleaned up and we're going to tear down houses. Ain't seen it yet. Service lines. He said he didn't change service lines. He ain't changed no service lines. Road restoration.
Right.
He hasn't done any restoration since he's been in office. That's a lie. Everything that he's said was a lie. When I was helping him, he said that he was going to get in office and bring back all the EPA, MDC, CDC, HSDR, all the people for the water. He lied. He said that he was going to go out and go door to door so that we make sure that our water is safe and get the samples. I came back from New York early. That was a lie. Everything that this guy says is a lie. And if you know anybody who has a personal relationship or a political relationship with him, ask them in confidence off the record, does Mayor Sheldon Neely lie? And they will tell you unequivocally, yes, he will tell you a lie just to be telling you a lie.
Well, I was just, I got up this morning, and if you read the Bible, it was some bad fellows in the Bible. One was, his name was David, King David. King David was a murderer.
King David.
I do too. I love him. The scripture says he was a man after God's own heart. Let me tell you what happened. He had a woman's husband killed, put him in the heat of the front line of the battle. And, he did all those things. And the prophet came to King David and gave him a scenario. And he said, what should be done with this man? King David said, you ought to kill him. Did all that, took the man's wife and put her husband in the front of the battle. And the prophet pointed his finger at David and said, thou art the man, and walked away. But see, David is not like Neely. Neely deflected it. A staff person. You know what David did? In 51 Psalms, when he was exposed by the prophet, he wrote, have mercy upon me, O God, for I have sinned. I did all these terrible things in your sight. See, when you don't think, because man don't see, guess what? God always sees. And he repented of his sins. He was contrite. He was broken. And because he repented, he said, Lord, whatever you do, I'm sorry. But don't take your spirit from me. And that's why the scripture said David was a man that chased after God. David had a right heart. I'm saying that we all make mistakes. But we have to have the right heart and admit that we make mistakes and ask for forgiveness.
And that's what I do all the time. I help Mayor Neely, and I admit to my mistake for helping him. And I ask all the people who I influence, if I influence them to vote for Mayor Neely, that I ask you for your forgiveness, because I did not know he lies and is vindictive like he is. I mean, he really has a serious issue that needs to be addressed, because I'm serious. I never thought that he was like he was or is. And I ask people for their forgiveness because I made a huge mistake, and it won't happen again, because I make sure that I question everything and anything around me. If a person get offended by me questioning them, I do not care. But dealing with the politics, we want to know, and we want to vet, and we really want to know what's going on with you. And I should have known back then when I sent him the text message of a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. I sent him this text message when he first started running. Back in April 2019, I said this to him. Just like with Dr. Reynolds, I had this lady, they turned off her water. She had kids for they turned off her water for 3 weeks. She got in touch with me. I went and videoed that Sunday. I called down to the state to Miss Sassy, right? Miss Sassy emailed Neely and told him, y'all got to turn her water back on because of COVID. Make the long story short, they forced them to come out there. I got the emails and everything, right? Dr. Reynolds called this lady and left a message. Don't give Arthur Woodson the credit for your water getting turned back on and service line getting fixed. It's me and the mayor. I got the emails for this, and I got the video, the voicemail of Dr. Reynolds. For you to do that, Dr. Reynolds, and I thought you was a square off person. For Dr. Reynolds to do that, that just shows you how Mayor Neely and Dr. Reynolds and his whole crew are liars, manipulators, and deceivers.
Well, you're talking about manipulation, and as you see, I got some things about manipulation. But let me get finished with the David story. God had forgiven David, all that. David was so grateful, he wanted to build God a house. And God would not permit David to build him a house, because the scripture said he had blood on his hands. This was David. And David repented. So what do you think about those who just lie, and don't repent? You know, as we said, that's not, having a degree is not a prerequisite of being elected mayor. But you must be honest with the people. You must be honest with the people. So if he lied about a trivial thing about a degree, has he lied about the water?
Correct.
Has he lied about the opera funds?
Yep.
Has he lied about crime?
Service lines. I mean, he didn't lie.
I got a question for you two brothers, though. Because I'm just looking in the chat. How do you feel about his supporters that's supporting him telling the lie? Because I see somebody say, I've heard people, because I'm in the streets, hearing them say, oh, don't worry about him not having a degree.
See, and that's the thing here, right? It's only like 13% of the African American community that has a degree. And we feel like our hands is our degree.
Right.
I can understand that. But what people have to understand, it's not about the degree. We're not saying he lied and he should have a degree. What we're talking about is the lie about a degree. That's integrity. That's character. If he will lie about a degree, he will lie about him getting ready to give you some money to help put a roof on your house.
Right.
He will lie about your water being safe. He will lie about crime that's happening in your area, which he has been lying. Crime is down when we in the hood know that crime is up. He will lie in order to position himself to be looking better than who he is. That is the thing that we're talking about, not the degree. I don't have a degree. Right. I could care less about a degree, and I can go head to head with people who do have a degree.
Because that's the question I want to ask, because I'm seeing his supporters, because it's making me look now like these are activists in the city. When you can go ahead, like he lied, because I'm looking, because I watched somebody say the other day, well, Mayor Williamson was a criminal. But he didn't lie and say he wasn't no criminal.
Right, and that's the difference here. I mean, they try to talk about me being a criminal. I did not lie. I pled guilty. I took a plea bargain. Pleading guilty is saying you got to tell the judge what it is that you did in order to even be able to get the plea deal. Okay. So I had to tell the truth, and if the judge feels like you're not telling the truth about that crime, they can dismiss the plea bargain.
And you know what, Art? I've heard this week, Mick, well, the black community don't care. That's the biggest lie out there. We do care. We do care about truth and honesty.
Right.
We do. We care about, listen, if your child lied to you or mine, guess what? It's going to be consequences about them lying. And my mother told me, as many of yours, boy, if you lie, you'll steal. The old folk, they didn't have no degrees. My mother didn't have no degree. Well, she worked 55 years in General Motors and retired.
Hey, but you want to hear something though, AC? The main ones that's saying about his lie is, and they're not activists. They are people who live outside the city of Flint. In their area, the people in their area, the cities that I know where they live, will be in an uproar right now. It's not about the degree. It's about the lie itself. As far as, what if that degree helped him get a job where a person really did have a real degree? He lied and positioned himself and made himself look better, or wanted himself to look better than what it is. If your child, what you said about a lie and all that, right? Your child come in and say, Mama, I don't have any homework. Your child had homework, but they lied about it. You know what I'm saying? That right there is you're mad about the lie, not the homework. You're mad because your child told you that she didn't have, or he didn't have any homework. That's what you're mad about. It's the lie, not the homework itself.
Well, and you're right, Art. You know, my dad and especially my dad, say, whatever you do, tell me the truth. If I did something wrong, tell me the truth and we'll deal with it. But he can't, if I lied to him and he go up, say he went half cocked and found out it was a lie, that was woe to me. I'm just saying we got to have some principle. We got to have some
integrity
and character.
Yeah.
See, reputation is merely what people think about you. Character is who you are.
And Mr. Dumas, here.
AC, you call me.
All right, AC, real quick, because I know you're running out of time, and I'm gonna be quiet after this, right?
You got 5, it's 9.
Okay, so I just want to say this real quick, right? Hurt me with the truth. Don't comfort me with a lie. Hurt me with the truth. I can take the truth. Good or bad, I can take the truth.
Well, you know what? If you went to the doctor, do you want the doctor to lie to you or tell you the truth about your health condition?
Correct. And a real friend, they're going to tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. And that's what he lied about by trying to fatten up his resume because that's what people like to see and people like to hear. And what's going to happen is, what he tried to do, like he said, down in Lansing, I was in Hollywood. He tried to be bigger than who he is. And when you got people like that, people who will lie, and like you said, steal, you have a person that's going to do anything to make themselves look good. He will lie to make himself look good. Hey, I got ARPA funds for you. He ain't got nothing for you. Hey, I'm going to come out to the community and I'm going to work all around Flint, especially over on the north side. Ain't did nothing yet. Well, he will lie.
Let me say this, that we'll be going off the air, but we will be on for another half hour on Facebook. You can follow it on 810 News Media Group, and also on my Facebook page, AC Dumas. But I don't care who you are. I'm not going to support a liar. This is me. I don't care who it is. I think when you do something dishonest, you ought to repent and say that acknowledge what you did. David said, I acknowledge my sins, and it's ever before thee, Lord. This is in Psalm 51. You know, the first thing to get healed, you got to acknowledge that you got a problem. If you don't never acknowledge that you have a problem, you'll never get healed. And again, you know, those who don't vote for him, don't vote for him. I don't care. Donald Trump said he could walk down where?
Fifth Avenue.
And what?
And shoot somebody.
And get elected.
Yep.
In broad daylight. I don't care what Donald Trump did. And you got some nearly folk the same way.
I got something for you before you go off the air. Will you put that out there? Weaver did not put that out. Fox News put that out on there. As far as him lying.
What? Oh no, Fox News did.
Yeah, but they act like Dr. Weaver put that. All these other people. No, it wasn't us.
No, they went after Neely because Neely is attached to Whitmer.
Yeah.
And they want Tudor Dixon. It doesn't matter where it came from. It's true. So it doesn't matter if Weaver, Dumas, me, you, or anybody else. It's facts. It's factual, and it's the truth. So stop trying to make excuses for him and accept the fact that he said it. Not Weaver, not Dumas, not me, not you. He wrote that down, not nobody else.
You know, until it came out, I thought he had a communication degree from Saginaw Valley. Right. Until it came out on Fox News.
Right.
I mean, you know, that's what I thought. Well, listen next week, because we're going to talk about Miss Inez Brown, our dear clerk, who's retiring. And she's having a retiring celebration on September 30th from, I think, 1 to 3 down at Flint City Hall. Miss Brown, our precious clerk. The question, and I'm asking this on the radio, why did Miss Brown just jump up and retire before the election?
It's not in her character. I asked.
It is not in her character. And I want to let you know the hands that's behind it. These folks that y'all are always voting for.
Yeah.
Now,
preach.
It's not in her character.
No.
80-plus-year-old woman.
I said, Miss Brown, it's not like you to do an unfinished job. I could see you retiring November the 9th, but not September the 30th.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to find out a whole bunch of stuff that you all don't know, but you should know. Well, thank you again for listening to The Truth Shall Make You Free. Follow us. Keep following us on Facebook and ATN News Media Group. We're going to continue. And certainly our prayers and thoughts are with all those who have lost loved ones, and I know because I lost my mother. Well, I didn't lose my mother. I know where they are. When you lose something, it's when you don't know where they are. So we want to thank you all for tuning in. Remember, Jesus said, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Nothing but the truth is going to make you free. Lies and manipulation. And when you tell one lie, you got to do what? Tell another lie, and another lie, and another lie. Then you become a liar. So that's what a liar is. Someone who continues to tell lies. That's what a liar is. And you can have all the political yard signs in your yard. I wouldn't have a yard sign in my yard of a known rapist. All right, then. Are we off? No, we still on there.
Yeah, we're still on there. Oh. Not on the radio. But...
All right, then. God bless you and see you. We're live on Facebook. Okay, all right, we're live on Facebook.
I'm just sitting up here. Listening.
I got a program if y'all need it.
Yeah, you got something?
Yeah, 455.
Yeah, I already got it set up.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well.
Yeah, my fault.
Listen, you on The Truth Shall Make You Free. We do things on The Truth Shall Make You Free.
Oh, well, then gonna do it then.
Y'all ready for me?
Yeah,
we're ready. Can they hear it on Facebook?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I want them to hear this part.
They're going to see what you said after. Here we go.
For the state of Michigan. As you called me, your words is called me the ordinance king. One of the roles of a city council person on a municipal level is to set public policy, positive public policy. And I've set more than any council person in Flint history. We try to set policy, and we will continue to do that, and we will fulfill that in the state of Michigan and Lansing. And when we talk about 9 candidates running, not one.
All right.
One of those other candidates besides myself has drafted.
It's on ATN News Media.
For
You'll be queuing it up. Meanwhile, Art, you want to say something?
Why would you send somebody there to Lansing?
I'm just sitting up here tripping. Hey, and then like the part where they introduced him. You know that one Mickey on my page where he had the round table. It's only like 5-6 seconds where he had the round table being introduced on PBS. Can you get that one up there?
Well, let's play it.
I just played. That's the one.
No, that's the one where Paul Herring was interviewing from 34th District State Rep. He was saying that he was an engineer by profession, Well, and while we're doing that, let me tell you what political manipulation is. Any and all manipulation is of Satan and not of God. Political manipulation is defined as skillful control by someone. Shrewd, devious management, especially for one's own advantage. Now, who that sound like? Political manipulations is to manage or influence skillfully, especially in an unfair manner, to manipulate people's feelings, to handle, manage, or use, especially with skill in some process or treatment and performance to suit one's purpose or advantage.
I got you.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about?
I got
Got who?
And it's bad to manipulate.
Hey, but the sad part is, AC, it's not just him.
No.
It's and I'm gonna be totally honest, man. It's a lot of politicians, and it's some stuff going on right now behind the scenes. All right.
We're going to go to some
where he was chair of the Black Caucus.
All right.
He's a former member
810. I don't know if you can hear it on my Facebook page or not.
President and a broadcast engineer. He holds degrees from Delta College and Saginaw Valley State University.
No.
Mr. Mayor-elect,
can you put it up to the mic?
Mr. Mayor-elect,
can you put it up to the mic?
Oh, it said what it said was they introduced him as mayor-elect, and then they said that he has a degree, associates from Delta College, and a bachelor's degree from SVSU. And while they were saying it, and it's in the studio, and you can hear all this, right?
Go ahead. Continue.
And, what it's saying is that he knew. What I'm saying is he knew that it was SVU inside. I mean, in his bio, and he didn't do anything and say anything about it at that time. And he's saying that a political person did it, but he said a political staffer did it. So why didn't you correct it right then and say, hey, Paul or Tim or whatever the guy's name was, why didn't you say something right then and say, hey, you know what? That's not true right there. Can you go and edit that part before you play it, on PBS and take that SVSU out? He could have done that, but he didn't. He chose not to. So you're misleading the public with that, and you knew about it, and now you got caught saying that you graduated or have a degree, instead of fessing up to it and saying, you know what, my fault, y'all. I put that in there. I'm sorry. I mean, that's all you can say is I'm sorry. I did it and move on. But he chose to compile the lie with a lie by saying a political staffer did it. And that's what everybody should be looking at, is the fact that he told a lie and then lied on top of a lie.
Art, you got to take ownership.
That's it.
I have to take ownership. Everyone has to take ownership. And if you refuse to take ownership, that becomes a problem, a big problem. And so if you have, are you on live?
No.
You're not on live? But if you have some questions, you can send them to 810 News Media Group, or you can send them to me, AC Dumas. I'm live on Facebook. Whatever questions you have,
you can rotate it back.
I got to rotate it back. You can send it to 810 or even on. Put this back up there for me.
Even with the two kids that died in that fire.
Oh yes.
Even with that, man, he'd rather holding back information is the same as lying to me. If you know the truth and you don't tell the truth and you hold that and hide that information, that's just like lying. And for him to do that and say that he didn't want to tell anyone or go after the white firefighters because it's political suicide, that right there in itself should have been enough to get him kicked out of office, man, at that time. But they hid it well. And city council needs to really do a special order and bring Chief Barton up to the front.
Absolutely.
And have Chief Barton tell them why they didn't go with his recommendation.
And what was his recommendation?
His recommendation was to fire him.
And Chief Barton did a thorough investigation.
Correct.
And his recommendation was to fire them.
Correct. So who overrode his? Oh man, listen, man. It's so much stuff going on.
Well, the fire chief serves at the pleasure of the mayor.
Right.
But one thing about Chief Barton, who's honest, he's already retired.
Right.
I think this probably be his last.
So
go ahead.
So I'm gonna tell you about somebody else that retired.
Go ahead.
Her name is Vicky Foster.
What? Who's Vicky Foster?
You don't know who Vicky Foster is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Vicky Foster had retired also. So tonight's finance meeting, there is a resolution for the purchase of vehicles in the amount of $500,000. The cars are coming from Alcera. Supposedly, Alcera is the only dealership that responded. I'm letting you know this because you need to know that Vicky Foster, the office manager for Rob Whittigan in finance, husband is the salesperson there. You should ask, is this a conflict Not sure if her whole name is Vicky Foster. Make sure you mention this. His name was involved in this bid. Whitaker may say Vicky is a city employee, isn't a city employee. She actually retired and has been back for 3 years, making more now when she was here. Before she was here. I mean, before she retired. As long as the city is paying her, she is a city employee. The point is, I'm sure we can get cars cheaper too. Not sure why Applegate didn't respond. Why didn't you just put it here in Genesis?
Alcera or Applegate?
Alcera is the one that they got the bid from.
Not Applegate.
No, they didn't get it from Applegate.
Now, Applegate, and I'm just saying this, is in the city, in the city of Flint, right?
Correct.
Alcera is in Grand Blanc. And I'm trying to get this out. She has someone, the employee.
The salesperson at Alcera is Vicky Foster's husband, who works for the city in the purchasing office. Vicky Foster, the office manager for Rob Whitaker in finance. That her husband is the salesperson at Alcera, and she's the office manager of the city in finance.
And Wigan, he's the what now?
He's the CFO for the city.
He's the CFO.
And he's a liar. He got a whole room full of liars.
Flint, y'all see what we're dealing with in the city of Flint.
And then here's another thing, right? Goyette did pipes, road restoration that wasn't on the list at the state. The city paid Goyette.
What?
Yeah, the city paid Goyette, but they didn't tell me how much they paid him though.
But you can't. Did the state reimburse us?
No, that's what I was getting at. The state didn't have the addresses because I told Clyde Edwards, who's the city administrator, I said, Clyde, you can't have, because Clyde was at City Hall, city council. He said, if anybody who needs road restoration done, call me and I'll put your name on the list. I said, Clyde, you cannot do this. I said, the state already has a list. What happens when they do excavations, the excavators or the service lines, they get an invoice. When the city gets the invoice, the city pays the contractor for that excavation. The city then sends it down to the state to Eric Pocan. Eric Pocan puts it in the computer. He makes sure that it's not double billing. He makes sure that the service line, he makes sure that everything is correct. He put it in the computer. Then he sends the money back down to Flint. That's for, I just wanted to explain that. That's for all the people who said Mayor Weaver mismanaged the money for the service lines, because the money was never in Flint. The money had to go down, the invoices had to go to the state, and the state reimbursed the city of Flint for this money right here, right? So now you got the invoices down there, right? So now here comes the other contract, right? The road restoration, which Goyette had. Goyette was supposed to get Roe. I wonder how much money Roe got out of that.
I don't know.
They supposed to, remember, they got $2.4 million for service lines this year. Wow. Remember, they got 2.9 for road restoration and service lines. So how much money has they used out of that? So now, right, Clyde Edwards said, hey, send me in the addresses for road restoration. They sent, the people sent in addresses, right? So they gave Goyette these addresses. Goyette sent in their invoices. The city sent the invoices down to the state. The state said, no, we can't reimburse you that money because we don't have that in our system. So they done spent all this money with Goyette knowing that they couldn't get reimbursed because they were never in the system. And then, that it doesn't stop there. Last year, Lane told them that they couldn't change service lines because they was overwhelmed and they didn't have the people, right? So they turned around and amended the contract with Lane and told, now I got this on recording, they told Eric Oswald that the city council voted to change and amend the contract with Lane to do service lines and road restoration. And the city council never voted on that.
Well, it seems like the city council is always in compliance with Neely.
Well, they didn't vote on that, but you know.
But they voted on a whole bunch of other
They
stuff.
don't want to work with them.
Whether you think they're going to vote on the car thing on Monday?
No,
I told somebody.
They sent that back to council. They sent that back to council. Committee. They sent that back to committee.
Okay. Well, look. Come on. You need to get up and let her come here. Man, what's wrong with you guys? Come on, Councilwoman. Come on.
Oh, God.
But you come here. I want you to come here. I got a couple
questions because I want to read it.
Hey, mate, come on. Put Councilwoman.
She can have my chair. She can have.
No, I want to be between both of you.
Oh man, because we fight.
As long as I don't get caught up in it, maybe I need to find. That's my girl. Maybe I need to let Mick come in between the fight. He fight too.
Wait, I forgot. I can't say that's my girl, man, because you know it's people listening. It's people listening, and they like the park ranger and all them, and they'll be like, "Hey, he called her a girl, and she didn't get mad." You know that in the hood, that's a figure of speech,
right?
You know, that's my home girl. That's my girl right there. You know, just using it, you know, just like that. But they're taking. You didn't say nothing when Art Woodson called you a girl. So let me take it back. Sorry, Councilwoman Burns. You know, I did not mean to say girl to you. You know, because you know
you're being invited, Councilwoman Burns.
Bring that paper.
That's come on. Just come on. Just come on.
Then we don't want you over here then.
Who showed it to
my fault?
I mean, you know, I send strong messages who show this here. Come on, you come over a little closer. It don't matter to me what the folks say.
He talks all that mess.
Go ahead.
It said, do you think Neely's whole legacy should be tarnished because of his lie, or just let him slide off into the sunset and eventually let the people about it? And what he think about the clown show downtown in city council?
Can I say something real quick? It wouldn't be a clown show downtown in city council if the staff would come up and tell the truth. That's number one. Number two, if they had these walk-ons to where the city council would be able to vet. I'm just speaking from myself. Councilwoman Burns can speak and say whatever she needs to say. But that's what I see. I see that they have a lot of issues with information from the administration, and if the administration would work with the council, then I don't think it would be as bad.
Councilwoman.
Well, and then that part is true. One, you got to have a truthful administration, and you have, for instance, the purchasing director. You asked me about. She filed a false report that I said things to HR, which was not true. So when you asked me about the document, and when Councilman Murphy brought it up at the meeting about the $500,000 for the cars, and was there a relationship or a relative, he brought that up, and that was out the blue. I had not heard of that. And so she started easing her way down the aisle, and he asked her, when the question came out, well, was anyone in the purchasing department related to someone, which the purchasing department is in the finance department. Right. Well, she didn't tell the truth. When she stated no, she didn't know about any relationship or any French or anyone was a relative. Well, the information that Councilman Murphy was asking about, she didn't tell the truth because I did get the paperwork.
What's the paperwork?
The paperwork stated that the person who's the salesperson for Alcera is Frank Foster, who is married to Vicky Foster, who is in the finance department. And the email states, "Hi, Lauren Holly. I'm Frank Foster. Now you work in the same department."
Yeah.
And so
that's a huge commission.
After the meeting, I had several people who worked at City Hall contact me and say, "That's Vicky Foster's husband."
Yes.
And so when we come there, as she stated, Lauren Holly stated, no, that's not true. You know, that no one is related.
Now look, Councilwoman Burns, here's a funny thing, right? Now, if I'm gonna say Ken, right? If I got something going on and Ken Burns, I'm trying to, do business with you, and I get an email from Ken Burns, the same last name you have, I'll be like, hey, I wonder if they related. Because Vicky Foster is the manager, so she got to know Vicky Foster. Yeah. They got the same last name. Let me check. Let me go ask her, is she related to this Frank Foster? Because I don't want to show any improprieties. I don't want to show anything wrong. She had to know that was her husband. Do you know the commission that she would get? They be fighting for $60,000 commissions when we pull up, and they be running out there fighting over a car sale. One sale, $500,000.
Well, here's the other part, and you're correct. But this bid wasn't done normal.
Right.
It came out.
Oh,
no,
it was
not. What they did was
it was rigged.
What they did was shorten the bid not to be an open bid for the state of Michigan.
Oh.
They shortened the bid to only be for the county. So you had to be a dealership in the county. So so the question came up during the meeting. Well, why didn't Shea Chevrolet or Applegate? And there's some other dealerships in the county. And she didn't really have an answer. There was only one person applied. So that really drew attention. And here's the thing. How you treat people makes a difference. Because Robert Whittaker's, the staff, how he's talking to people are calling me. People have been calling me, telling me.
Well, if this was my show, I would have some serious jokes right now. But this is your show. Right.
You go at 8:10.
Look at that. When you shorten the bid to where, because we bought the fleet vehicles from Grand Rapids,
right,
and they're generally a lot cheaper.
And then you don't even have to bid because they're in this program that you can just automatically. Mayor Weaver did it with her leasing. Matter of fact, those trucks, the fleet, not Al, what's his name in Blight? What's the Blight manager's name?
Arnold Brown.
Those that y'all voted on, y'all just paying off the lease that Mayor Weaver had gotten under her administration.
Right.
And she was using Grand Rapids because it's a program that they in through the state to where you don't have to send out a bid. You can just go straight to them and say, hey, we want these vehicles right here. And they are GM, they Tahoes.
Well, this is a conflict of interest.
Oh, man, they need that
you
commission.
Cannot, and it was not disclosed. And it was not disclosed in front of the city council during the committee meetings. It's a conflict of interest. You shorten that bid process to where you only have Genesee County. And
attitude reflects leadership.
And she stated right. And I know she lied because she lied on me and stated that I threatened her and she felt a hostile environment. She actually filed a report with a human resource. But know what else I found out?
What else you found out?
Also, I heard that she.
I should have had her on my show.
She wanted the city clerk's job.
What you made me slobbing my candy out. She wanted what?
I thought I had the right.
Miss Burns, did not tell the listening audience. Y'all stay tuned. Inez Brown's departure ain't just Inez.
No, it's not. It's not. And I'm going to say this again, as I said at the council, how that was brought up there was grimy and it was messy. And I'm not going to change that.
And it was Quincy Murphy brought it along with that lying chief legal officer who works for Neely. See, what Neely wants, he wants to control the mayor's office. 5 votes on the city council, seems like he got that already. And now he wants to control the clerk's office.
Let me tell you.
When did the mayor call a press conference in reference to the clerk? It's not his
place. It's not his place. Because we voted.
And then they had. I can't even talk about Chris Martin over here, can I?
No.
No.
All right. Okay. Well, he was standing there with him, along with Liddell Lewis. So it's a
Your
plan.
threat.
It's something, and I'm talking about the press conference. And I hate that it's your show because you got to put all of them together in order to make it look like what it's supposed
Well, I
to
didn't
be.
say you couldn't say
I'm
who
not
was there. I
talking
said
bad
you can't talk about.
I'm not talking.
I know Liddell Lewis was there because I saw her on the mic.
Yeah.
I know what's the other lady? Wasn't another lady? Lottie Ferguson. Because I got in a big argument. Somebody said that was one of my friends. I said, no, my friend wasn't up there standing next to Neely.
Well, what's interesting is when we had the meeting over, I go to a Thursday meeting and I'm slightly switching. And some of the people that he brought to the meeting.
What Thursday meeting?
Well, I mean, there's a group of pastors, and Pastor Rowan is a dear friend and some other pastors. But Mayor Neely brought with him, he brought, Lottie was there. He brought Vanessa Pringle. He brought Sherrod Piggy. He brought Detective Sergeant Booth. He brought, trying to think, am I missing anyone? And I said to Detective Sergeant, and I appreciate Detective Sergeant Booth. And I said to him, so you babysitting the mayor at the Golden Corral? So
Go ahead.
that to me was,
and it was on City Time.
It was, yes, it was for lunch. And so, but the mayor wanted, and he was campaigning.
But here's the thing,
He was campaigning for a vote at the Golden Corral, and he had city people there. Lottie Ferguson was there being paid. Vanessa Pringle was there being paid, and Detective Sergeant Booth was there being paid. That's their job. But he was campaigning on city time with city workers.
But here's the funny thing, right? They talk bad.
I don't get invited to them.
They speak bad.
They didn't want to be there with that group.
They speak bad and ill will of Mayor Weaver because she had the chief with her. Now you want on his radio show, he talked about misinformation and hypocrisy. Now that is hypocrite right there. He is a hypocrite.
And he stated you may not vote for me in here. Okay, well, you were there campaign. It's very clear. And it's recorded.
Hey, but y'all know what?
It's recorded.
And AC, I want you to answer this, right? Okay. Because you hadn't spoke on it. Should Neely's legacy be tarnished because of that lie that he told about his degree?
Well, yeah, his legacy is already tarnished. Not should be, it is already tarnished. Legacy remembers after the fact. Legacy is not doing. Legacy is what you leave to your children or whoever.
Community.
Your community.
Right.
It's already tarnished. And if people want to vote for a tarnished person like a Donald Trump, let me tell you something. And I'm going to say this. You got two blacks. And y'all see me doing that quote in the quote. Running for mayor. Seeking the office of mayor.
Mm-hmm.
You got a Barack Obama, which represent Karen Weaver. Then you got a Clarence Thomas that represents Sheldon Neely. Both of them are black. Now, who you trust, Barack Obama or Clarence Thomas? Neely is a Clarence Thomas. He has done nothing for the black community. He owns a female black contractor company close to $1 million, but he's paid all the other contractors. I have an issue with that. I do have an issue with that. What time is it?
It's 10:29.
Okay.
Well, and you should have an issue because they should be paid.
What time
He paid Goyette, which is a white contractor, and to withhold that from them, to me, is an egregious act. But he's a very vindictive person. I mean, he doesn't mind going after, and he sends his minions and trolls after you. I mean, and he doesn't stop. But this is the one thing I like about that group on Thursday. They've been seeing all that stuff that Mayor Neely's people been doing, and they don't like it. They don't like it.
And let me say, and that group wasn't a concerned pastor for.
No,
that wasn't the black preachers. Concerned pastors.
These are majority white.
They may have some black pastors.
Ron and Brian.
Right. He doesn't. No, he's not a part of that group.
He's not part of that.
He just that was his, I believe, his first time.
Okay.
Yeah. But he came.
No, he was on Mayor Neely's radio show this morning.
Okay. Well, he should have been there to defend him on Thursday when he got up and left, because he got up and left when the water got a little hot. You know, because Mayor Neely didn't have the answers, and they were asking him, you know, questions. But first of all, but he's bringing, you know, he's campaigning with staff. That part, we don't have enough staff at City Hall, and we don't have enough officers to answer calls, and you got Detective Booth standing right outside the door of the back room to make sure.
I wonder how many officers is on patrol today, because last week it was only 4, and the minimum supposed to be 7, and they did not call any of the young officers in last weekend. And then on top of that, out of the 4, 1 has to patrol your area, Mott Park area. They're assigned to that area, and then the other one is downtown. They're assigned to downtown. Then you got bikers week going on, weekend going on. So how many officers are patrolling the city of Flint right now?
We will not get that answer because they feel that they're not transparent. They won't even give that number to council. So what you can do to get to figure out how many that they have. Like I had to backtrack with the 911 report, which they claim we have 99 full-time officers, but that report's old. So we divide that by the 3 shifts, and then that's also command. But we have full-time, part-time, and on-call officers. So we don't have, like, you know, when we ask for, you know, what is their real status, they have not been, you know, transparent, you know, and they're not going to be. When I look at about 115,000 calls went out because of 911, went into 911 center, and 54,000 did not get a call or get an officer to show up. And then we have a LOU, letter of understanding, which states officers aren't supposed to respond to certain calls. One, because we have a shortage, and those calls don't meet the criteria. So a homicide, a stabbing, you know, so a call that may be important to me, or like the night we called about the children, the kids who were in the park. If one of the list of calls that they don't answer to is runaways. So if you have a child that's missing, and our hands were literally tied. And so when we look at, you know, what they're responding to and what they can't, you know, Chief Green, and it's his signature. You know, let's be transparent. If you can't answer those calls, have enough officers, then you need to have another agency to help you.
So like with runaway, right? If it was me suggesting to Chief Green, I would say, won't you subcontract, or because that's something dealing with mental health, basically, almost.
You're correct.
And a counselor, somebody can go out there. Why don't you sub that out to and tell 911, hey, listen, it's a runaway. It's not violent. It's not any of that. Have them to go out and, you know, get the information and relay it back to the department, because every hour count with a runaway.
Absolutely.
Every minute, you know, I should say, my fault, every second. So they should be and say, hey, you know what, let GHS, because they have trained counselors, let them go out there and get the information and relay it back to the police station. I mean, that would make sense right there.
Well, let me say we got to close down, but are you, Councilwoman Burns, I don't know how your schedule looks for next week, and we'll play it by your schedule. If you can come back, because I want the people on 1420 to hear some of the discussion, and you know, you're down there, and if you're the city council don't know, you know, if people don't know,
right?
I didn't know what you was talking about, the memorandum of understanding.
Yeah, the LOU.
LOU, and some things that when the residents call, they wonder why when they call 911, it's a joke. They don't get an officer. When I call 911, whatever I call for, it's important to me. But I should know why they don't respond.
But you know what's interesting? No other municipality in Genesee County has an LOU that excludes calls that they answer. No other municipality.
Okay. Well, again, I want to thank Mickey Jordan, 810 News Media Group. And you can reach Mickey at 810newsmediagroup@gmail.com. If you want him to do your shows and stuff, bring it he like cash. Cash is king. Don't bring your check because you might write a check and it bounce.
But if they do, Flint police won't show up. That's
another
on
one.
the list.
Oh,
That check is on
see, you went on that. Otherwise, if I write a hot check,
don't call.
Don't call the
You gotta go
police
down
department.
to the you gotta report it. They don't.
I'm finished. I'm
You gotta go to
done.
the police station.
Listen to us next week on Flint Premier Gospel Radio Station WFLT. I'm Deacon AC Dumas. Remember the words of Jesus. Remember this. Ain't nobody, I'm going to tell you this, ain't nobody going to heaven unless they do what Jesus said. Y'all can believe me that. Jesus said, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. God bless you, and have a good and prosperous weekend.